I don't know why. Just 2 seconds. Okay. Okay.
All right, welcome back, everyone. It's been a bit, so I called this meeting to order at 4:03 p.m. Roll call
Yvette,
here.
Nicholas,
Here.
Ian, oh no, just kidding. Aaron,
Here.
Kate, here. Lydia, here. Benjamin.
Here.
Okay, so we're here.
Okay, public comments. Are there any public comments?
I'd just like to say that I'm here on behalf of the law student media, as assigned. Outside of that, no further comments.
All right.
I would also like to say that I am here on behalf of those news.
Cool. Welcome, guys. Okay, there are no other public comments. Any advisor announcements?
I think I have any announcements at this time. Does anyone know one? One, two, or two?
Right, moving on to business item 1, FACCC Advocacy and Policy Conference. This item is to discuss and possibly approve up to $1,696 in additional funding for the FACCC Advocacy and Policy Conference. So the presenter here will be Bob Stockwell. So thanks for being here, Bob.
Oh, thank you. Looks like I might have frozen. I might stop video if that continues, if that persists. You know, I had a chance to look at my notes in advance of coming here today, and I've got a confession to make, if I may. And that is I screwed up big time. I made a mistake. As it happens, I think the mistake isn't so far off the mark from the ask. And so here's what I'd like, if I may, Izad and others, if I could share with you. I'll provide this in narrative form, and then if I may, if I could share screen, it would be helpful, I think, to refer to a couple documents to explore what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah, sure.
So if I may, in narrative form here, what we have before us here is 2 items, each requesting additional allocation for the A&P conference. And that A&P conference we intend to go to in February 25th and 26th. And kind of the long story short, the plan is, at least as of now, the budget plan is, as of now, is for 10 students to attend that conference from De Anza. And here's the other key pieces of information here. 10 students for 2 nights. So going up Saturday night, spending Saturday night in Sacramento, and spending Sunday night in Sacramento. And so what the special allocation requests speak to both of those aspects, increasing the numbers to 2, and then building in the additional cost for meals. And then here's what I'd like to do if I could, Izad, and I don't know if this is registering or not, if there's confusion or questions. You can't quite see everybody very well, but if I may share screen, what I'd like to do is if I may is look at one document, the first document here, which is and I'm going to kind of start at the end, if I may. I'm going to look at the document that was the request for 2024, 2025 for this conference. And the reason I'd like to do that, if I may, is because that document actually represents the best estimate of the cost in terms of food refreshment, the 4015, as well as domestic conference and travel, 5510, of the current plan for this year. Okay, now, if I may, I'm going to just open up that document now, if I can find it here.
Oh, so you'd like to share your screen?
Yes,
Or-
please. I'm gonna do that now, if I may. I just opened it here. So this represents the request for the Advocacy and Policy Conference. This is the one that was submitted to DASG for next year. Is that large enough for folks? Is that large enough for folks to see?
Yeah,
that-
that's good. That's perfect.
Okay. So what you see here, and so as I said, this is the request for next year. So it hasn't actually been considered yet for next year. But what you see here is a budget model based on food and refreshments for 10 students at current per diem rates for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, for these additional meals that I just spoke to, for a Saturday evening meal, a Sunday morning meal, based on the fact that the plan is to spend 2 nights there, Saturday night and Sunday, for a total of $1370 on this particular item. Okay. And then moving down here to the second piece, the conference and travel, this is a budget model based on the actual current conference registration fee of $250 for 10 students and 5 hotel rooms for 2 nights. So based on sharing 2 students per hotel room, and then estimating 5 cars for 2 nights of parking or 2 days of parking for this total cost, for a total cost of $5,000 for the 5510. And then the total budget estimate based on, okay, so here's 10 students, 2 nights, 5 hotels for 2 nights, augmented, meals Saturday night, Sunday morning. The total budget estimate here is $6437.85. Okay. Now, if I may, I'm going to stop share here, and I'm going to open up another document, which is this year's actual budget request. So for 23-24. And so here's this year's budget request. And what you see is something quite different. So this was the request for this year, 23-24. And it was based on a very different model, both in terms of the number of meals, it had 2 less meals, and in terms of the estimate for conference fees and for hotels, quite a bit less. So this particular request for this year was $4737.56. And DASG allocated an additional amount. They actually allocated $4,755. So this is where the mistakes came in on my part. What I should have done and did not do is I should have put in, so here I'm going to come back you notice these numbers here, if I may. So the current allocation was 975 for food and refreshments. You know, and then the current allocation estimated, because you actually did grant more, 4755, is 376256. Okay. So here's what I'd really like to do in bringing these two together is I'm going to stop share again here, and I'm going to come back to the original request. So here I'm back now to this. What you'll note here is this original request, the amount that was granted this year was 975, and the estimate is 1370. So that's a difference here in the 4015 food and refreshment of $395. So this, based on the current model, right, the current 23-24 allocation is $395 short of the estimated cost with regards to food and refreshments. Likewise, the current allocation is of 3672.56 is 1,305.29 short of estimated cost 5510 costs. So you combine those two, and this is really this is what I'd like, if it's possible, to revise the special allocation request, would actually be a request on line item 4015 of 395, and the line item 5510 of 1,305.29. And I see Dennis's hand raised.
What was that second amount again?
The second amount would be a request for an increase of 1305.29. And so those two together would be a total allocation request of 395. Excuse me, I'm just going to do the calculation here real quick. 395 plus 1305.29 for a total special allocation request of 1,700.29.
1,701.
1,700.
Yeah, we don't do cents, just everything needs to be rounded.
So and as it happens, so as it happens, based on the way here, and I'll just come back, if I may, to this other screen to look at.
Also, just so everyone is clear, all conference and travel expenses, including meals, use object code 5510. Okay.
That's hugely helpful, Dennis. Thank you. So it's actually all of this is 5510. Dennis, did I hear that correctly?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So this would then be a request for 1,701 on the 5510 line item for the FAC A and P. Is that, Dennis, am I understanding that correctly?
That's correct.
So coming back here then, if I may, and this is where I made a mistake. I'm looking at one of the special allocation requests, and so one of them was $408. Okay. And this was to build into the budget those extra meals Saturday night and Sunday morning. But it's inadequate because it's actually 8. It should be 10 if we're building a 10-person model. And then the other, and forgive me if I don't know if this switched screens or not. This was the other special allocation request to get to 10. And that is based on an increase from the 8 model to 10 across food and refreshments and across domestic travel. And as it happens, this number, I don't know why, it's a bit totally, utterly bizarre, but this number of 408 plus 128757 gets us very close to the 17 and 1. So even though it was mistakenly submitted by me, mistakenly in this way, the amount is comparable to the amount that, if possible, I'd like us to consider as a revised special allocation request, line 5510 for the A&P of $1,701. And I'm gonna just stop there, if I may, and invite questions, issues.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions?
So this would go into next year's budget, is that correct?
No, this year.
Oh, this year.
Yeah, it's a call from special allocations to the conference for this year. Bob, do you wanna, I think the DASG Finance Committee already did talk about FACCC and budget deliberations a bit, but just to give a refresher to everyone in the room, do you want to talk maybe just like a very brief overview on what it is?
I'd be happy to, thank you. So this conference, and am I clear? Do I need to maybe stop video? Might that help? I'm just not
You're
sure.
fine, you're good, you're fine.
Okay. So this conference is an opportunity to go to Sacramento and to meet with students from throughout the state of California, and to explore issues pertaining to the budget, and in particular the California Community College budget, as well as legislation impacting community college students and community colleges. So much of this conference is dedicated to an examination. In this case, now we're looking at the January budget proposal for next year, 24-25, the governor's budget proposal. And so we're talking about all of its parts and its potential implications for students and for community colleges. We're also tracking legislation, some of it that will be carried over from last year, from the 23 cycle into the 24 ledge cycle. And then other new bills that are being introduced and will be introduced in the days and weeks ahead. And we are principally organizing through, as a student delegation, organizing through the Public Policy School, which has taken a leadership role in organizing our campus delegation. And so they're working on the logistics of the conference. They're working on the legislative visits. We'll be meeting with probably as many as 12 state assemblies, state senators on that Monday afternoon. We're also putting together our legislative portfolio and our budgetary portfolio to use in those ledge visits. And so we'll be training folks up. Anybody who attends, it will be invited to attend those ledge visits, some of those ledge visits, not all of them, obviously, but in teams, and to be trained up on the legislative issues as well as the budgetary issues that will be the substance of those meetings. So we see this as a opportunity for folks to develop skills in advocacy, to develop skills in research and analysis, to come together and to forge relationships with groups like SSCCC, who are co-sponsors of this conference and will be involved in this conference. There will be multiple student breakouts in this conference and a student caucus the first night. So we see it as a great opportunity to advocate on behalf of community colleges. And so that's the reason why we want to go, and that's the reason why I'm here, frankly, asking for additional funding for this year to accommodate 10 students and to also build into our schedule and our meals a little bit more time for folks to get rest Saturday night so they can be well rested Sunday morning for the all-day conference, and then for Sunday night as well to return late Monday evening. I'll stop there and entertain any questions or other
Yeah,
issues.
that's fun. So does anyone have any questions? Any questions, Lydia? No. Okay, if there are no questions, I believe so, Dennis, it's 1,701.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So does anyone want to propose a figure or even just the full amount? Yeah. Well, who wants to start?
Hold
Full amount? How much was the full amount?
1,701.
Okay. Okay, can I get a motion on the floor? Okay,
I move to approve $1,701 to the SA Advocacy and Policy Conference. Out of the special.
can I get a second? Alright, moved by Kate, seconded by Aaron. Are there any objections? No objections, so this motion passes. So fine, so the way it works now, Bob, is that we're gonna bring this to the Senate meeting next week?
This one.
Yeah,
Oh, this one's it.
this one here or next one?
This one.
Oh, it's already on the agenda?
Oh, so it's already.
Is the one thing? This one.
Because there was also there was another one for something else that they had back then.
Let me check.
Alright, so we're checking first, but it's going to be moved to, oh, it's there? Okay, yeah, so we just confirmed, so it's going to go to Senate this Wednesday. So then Senate is gonna, well, Finance is gonna present it again. And then Senate is gonna vote whether it passes or not, and then that's when it becomes official. So, yeah, that's, you'll hear about it from that.
Thank you very much, Izat, and everybody
Thank you
in
so
the
much for
committee.
taking time, Bob.
My
Take-
apologies for the confusion around the numbers. I really apologize for that, and I'm sorry that.
Oh, no, it's all right. The forms are a bit tricky as well. All right, you know.
Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Yeah. Have a good rest of your day, Bob.
Take care.
So moving on to business item 2, DASG special allocations request for a bike program. This item is to discuss the replacement of old regular bikes for the DASG bike program, which are no longer usable rather than refurbished. The total amount requested is $11,351. Dennis.
Can you open up the? So, for those of you that were at the Senate meeting, this was last quarter, I don't remember the exact meeting, but we brought in the two bikes, one of each, to show the Senate what they're like. Community Cycles received a donation of a few hundred bikes from Google, from their on campus, Google campus fleet of bikes. So they've all been, or they will be all refurbished and brought in to us for a discount. And I believe it's, can you scroll to the next page? I think it's 200 each, right? Yeah, so we have two types of bikes, 25 each, 50 bikes total. Each bike is $200, plus there's some for the tax and the transportation or delivery fee. So this would be 50 bikes total. Currently, we have or had up to 43 regular bikes, I think it was, or 42. But they're really no longer using them. Bikes are, in most cases, over 10 years old now. They've already been refurbished a couple times, and it's really just more. It's really just more cost effective at this point for DSG to purchase these newly refurbished bikes. And then we would donate the current bikes to community cycles so they can, if they're even reusable at all, they can refurbish them to give away to people who need them. So the total request amount is, if you could, yeah, so there's two, yeah, there's 11,000. So right now we have, let me check, we have quite a bit in special allocations right now. For the current year. Yeah, so we have 100,000 right now in special allocations, so this will only be about 11% of it.
Okay, Dennis, was this the one we talked about during budget deliberations?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So are there any further questions for this item? We did already discuss this in budget deliberations when deciding next year's bike program funds, so I hope you guys kind of are more familiar with this item. Can I get a motion on the floor? Yeah, any one of you.
Any voting member?
Yeah. It's getting a little awkward, not gonna lie. Yes, Kate.
I. Let us have $210.
Can I get a second? Oh, I think maybe, yeah, okay, Nicholas. Okay. Moved by Kate, seconded by Nico. Are there any objections? Okay, no objections. Then moving on, 2024-2025 DASG budget, Fund 41, DASG General Fund. This item is to discuss the allocations for the 2024-2025 DASG budget for Fund 41, totaling $1,557,751 and 12 cents. Dennis.
Okay, so this was just really brief. I just needed to mention one thing that we've forgotten about. So there is one senator position that must be added. I forgot about that this past Friday. So this is, so I just wanted to let you know that for the DSG Student Leader Scholarship or DSG ICC, a member's Student Leader Scholarship account. It was updated to add $1,500, so just one senator for 1 year. So I will email the final spreadsheet to everyone, but the student leader scholarship total will be 93,900, and then so that 1,500 came out of special allocation. So the new total for that is 190,643. I'll email out the updated spreadsheet so that we can approve it next week with finance.
Was the bike program coordinator senator position included in this one?
Yeah, all those were included on Friday, but you should have gotten a copy of them today, but we've forgotten, I don't know why they got it last year. But there's no vice chair on administration.
And the scholarship also includes one PS coordinator. Right, or
One or two, I did put in two because we weren't sure. We'll see what we end up doing this year.
Okay, all right. So moving on, public comments. Are there any public comments? No? Advisor announcements? Any advisor announcements? Okay,
Who's on, I think,
or is there? Oh.
Oh, wait, I was just gonna ask, would it be too late for, Locals to send in a 5510 budget request for a conference this year, or
Oh,
like by
yeah.
next meeting?
Oh, this year?
you have until tomorrow at 4 to submit
Okay,
for
thank
next
you.
week.
Thank you.
I don't think I have anything unless Malia or looks like Lisa's online, so unless they have something. Anything
Can you
from
please
Lisa?
just, Dennis, can you put in chat the amounts that changed on the spreadsheet for me, please?
But I'll be sending it out anyway as well.
I know, but it's different than what I wrote on my spreadsheet. I just would like to have it. I just need to make a note on my own spreadsheets, please.
If that's all, the introduction and approval of prospective interns, are there any prospective interns here? Anyone who wants to be an intern, non-intern? Yeah. Why don't you guys, okay, so everyone who's a prospective intern, so just someone who wants to be an intern, just come up here. Like line up here or like just like next to the computer, and then just type in your name and say what meeting this is for you. This is your first, second, or third meeting. So that's everyone. Like now, yeah. Yes, it's write your name and then write what meeting. Full name.
My name is Michio Ozaki. This is the first meeting for me.
Oh, can you just take that in one?
I'm Amna, and this is my first meeting.
Oh, it's up to you. You can say that.
Hi, I'm Mitsuba. This is my first meeting.
We have to figure it out. Not right now, but.
And then I have my first meeting. Oh, hi, I'm Pranita. This is my first meeting.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Scott. This is my first meeting.
Okay, are there any prospective interns here who are already past their third meeting and want to get interviewed? Going once, going twice, twice. If not, I adjourn this meeting at 4:36 p.m.
Nice.